say please stand.
Dudley usually does.
Okay, stand. There you go.
All right, let's get started. This evening, we have Mike Summerfield with Grace Mennonite Church. He's going to lead us in our invocation.
Let's bow in prayer. Father, I want to thank you for the privilege of coming here this evening and asking for your blessing on and a group of people that genuinely need it. Father, the few teachers that I do know put their heart and soul into educating our children, equipping them to live in a society where people interact and learning how to read and write and do arithmetic and communicate intelligently is a blessing that many societies don't have. We thank you for those blessings. We thank you for the blessings of our teachers. We thank you for their willingness to sacrifice to make sure that our children learn well. And I ask, as our Board of Education meets today, to equip those teachers to do their work, that you'll give them wisdom, give them insight, give them understanding, give them a supernatural unity, and a focus on what really matters, what the teachers do in the classroom, so that our kids can be equipped to live. I ask you for all these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. Call the meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. The members: Matt Lohman, Joe Blackwood, Rennie Long, Tori Turnbow,
Present.
Kim Tinius,
Present.
Matt Sampson, Chad Mance, present. Please stand for the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Order, arms!
That takes us to 1B, presentations. Jane?
Yes, tonight we're going to recognize some schools for being named the 24-25 Healthy Schools Oklahoma. And for one teacher, Susan Brinley, come on up here, girl. She was named the Classroom Teacher of the Year from the Oklahoma Healthy Schools. So Susan teaches 4th grade at Hayes. You want to say anything to her?
We have a great PE teacher.
You have a great
We have
PE
a
teacher?
wonderful PE teacher.
Awesome. Well, we'll let Chad give you a certificate. And I'm going to take a picture. So next, we'd like to recognize Garfield Elementary School for being named a 24-25 Healthy Schools Oklahoma. And they were also named a 23-24 Tower Garden School for the 23-24 school year. So Ms. Robinson, what's a Tower Garden?
It is a hydroponic garden that we're growing lettuce and cucumbers and all sorts of things in the classroom. And then we have samplings and the kids get to taste it. Ms. Rader gets to taste Mr. Rader. Robinson's tasted some of them.
That's awesome.
And it's just fun to watch their faces. And then seeing when we put it with like cilantro, lime, rice, when they taste the cilantro and then you put it with the lime and rice, the two differences.
Oh, very cool. Well, see, I needed educated on what the Tower Garden was. So congratulations, and we'll take their picture. I have to crop it just right for my Instagram. The next school that we're going to recognize is Hayes Elementary School for also being named a 24-25 Healthy Oklahoma Schools. Ms. Jarnigan. Ms. Jarnigan's the principal there. And the last school that we are going to recognize is Monroe Elementary School, and Ms. Dietrich couldn't be here tonight, but she sent Angie Owen, her new school counselor, and so Angie will accept that certificate for them. And that is all of the presentations for this evening.
Well, thank you, ladies, for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Congratulations, Ms. Brindley. All right, Mr. Mance, can I go ahead and get started real quick?
You can. There's no audience to visitors, so let's go to 3.
Perfect. Okay, I've got several reports that we're going to start off with there in just a few minutes, but the first thing we have to do is an action item, and that is to appoint assistant minute clerks, Mrs. Annie Blasengame, Mrs. Veronica Marin. I just need your approval for this to help keep things rolling here in central office.
Do I have a motion? Matt with the motion and Joe with the second. Is there any discussion? Let's vote. Matt Loman?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Yes. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt
Yes.
Sampson? Chad Mance? Yes.
Thank you all. We'll get that recorded accurately. Okay, that moves us on to item B, and that will be, we're going to have 3 reports back to back to back, and the first one is going to be Ms. Kelly Craig, our child nutrition. Kelly, you and Richard want to go ahead and head up here real quick. I want to turn it over to you. Very important jobs, Kelly and Richard both have, keeping the kids fed every day, breakfast and lunch, and appreciate the job that you do, Kelly. We'll turn it over to you.
I think everyone has the numbers,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And any questions? Right now, we have on free 5,425, and on reduced, we have 291. Tomorrow, we're doing our direct cert download, so the numbers will go up, hopefully. As of October, we are 76% free, 8% reduced. Anybody have any questions on that? Our Easy Meal app is very easy to go to for onlines. And we've had a lot of people coming over to the central kitchen, filling out an application. They come over here, fill out applications. So they're over there working right now, putting them on. Any questions for me?
I just wanted to go over a few of the costs for different things. The price increases have gone up over the last couple years. Just put together a few items in here just to give some comparisons for you guys. Like ketchup, for instance, I picked out some simple items. It's up 10.5%, $28 to $32 a case. Green beans, 20% increase on those. Cream of chicken soup, which we use quite often, you know, it's up 20% increase. Corn dogs, another item, up 26%. Biscuit dough, 22%. Orange juice took a big jump from about 48%. And then all frozen vegetables have gone up to anywhere from 10 to 25%. One of the items I'm sure everybody's seen in the grocery stores is egg prices. We used to pay $18 to $20 a case. Now large eggs are almost $50 a case. So most of the other schools and restaurants and stuff all switched to medium. That's what my vendor's telling me, because they're easier to get and the price is cheaper, which they're at $28 now. So that's just a little deal on that. Beef crumbles is another item that we use quite a bit, and it has gone up. It's doubled in price in the last 3 years, about 3 years, and that's doubled on that. Cleaning supplies have gone up about 30% also. You see there we got napkins up 12%, foil 35% increase. Some of the paper and plastic items have came down just a little bit for this year. Equipment prices are one of the big ones that took a big hit, and I think a lot of that was due to COVID stuff. All the materials went up so much. Stainless steel, 40 to 50% higher. A couple of examples I put on there: 3-compartment sink, which we just had to purchase one. I used to be able to get it for $2,500. It was $3,600 this year. Purchase one of those. 2-door refrigerator, had to buy a couple of those this year also. They were about $4,800, up from $3,500. We recently got a new kettle over at the kitchen. We have 60-gallon kettles over that we use to cook in, like chicken noodles and chili and that kind of stuff. 10 years ago, as I showed you on there, we installed 3 kettles at a cost of $65,000, and this year we replaced one for $72,000. So that was last year we received a $21,000 equipment grant from the state, and we got a couple of new pieces of equipment out of that, one at Monroe, one at Glenwood, and I just was informed today that opens again in October, so we'll be applying for some more for this year. A couple of projects we got done this summer over Coolidge. Remodeled the kitchen over there, the cafeteria, updated to install a hand sink and a 3-compartment sink, because the health department made us do that, so it ended up being awfully expensive, 3-compartment and hand sink. But anyway, it was a nice upgrade for over there. The health department's already been around, and they said it looked great, so they had good approval on it. At the high school, we moved a couple of the serving lines from downstairs up to the upper deck food court, which had been closed for a few years, to get rid of some traffic from downstairs area. I got a couple new pieces of equipment for up there as well. Emerson cafeteria received new tile in the dining room, which made that look a lot better in the dining room. And then, as I'd mentioned earlier, the replacement of the kettle at the central kitchen. So, right.
Well, certainly appreciate the job you guys do. I want to go back to Kelly, your first point. If anybody's having trouble with lunch bills, just come talk to us, right? And we'll help them out the best we can and get the proper paperwork filed as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions,
Anything?
Richard, Kelly? Well, thank you guys for being here. Okay, next up is Mr. Moulton. Rick's got another easy job. Speaking of easy jobs, is all these buses keeping them rolling every day, and all the drivers. But Rick, thanks for being here tonight, and I'll turn it over to you.
I believe you were given a handout there, and I'd like to give you an update on how the money was spent for the bond issue. And at this time, we have purchased 2 international 71-passenger buses. They came in at one bus is bus 27. It's on a route. It's been placed on the Eisenhower and Waller route right now. The other bus is bus 28. The bus 27 was $119,335. Bus 28 was $119,500, which was just a little bit more. A lot of that in the pictures that you see right there. Bus 28 has a chrome grille on it, and it also has small cargo bays on the bottom, so it can be used on the road as an activity bus for a coach to drive. He does not have to have air brakes. So with that being said, that was a pretty good buy on both of those. If we were to order these buses today, it would cost us about $154,000 per bus. So the timing was just perfect for us whenever we went to get those. Now, in the past, I have applied for the DEQ grants, and we have received those a couple times. When that grant comes back out, I am going to apply for those for our bond money for next year to see if we can get a big discount off the buses that are coming. Bond issue was for $300,000. So the 2 buses that you're looking at there totaled $2,338,835. That left us with $61,165. I ordered 2 Chevy Traverse LS's. They're not anything fancy. but they're a very, very nice vehicle. And one came in last Friday. The other one, we're expecting probably some in mid-September to the end of September, because they wouldn't accept both orders at the same time. We had to order one, then turn around and order another one. So with that being said, they came in at $36,300 per vehicle. Now, that was with our government-assisted program and also with a discount from the dealership. So those two vehicles totaled $72,600. That left us at being $11,435 over the bond issue that's there. And I believe there is a purchase order put in place for that $11,634. That would take care of all of our bond money. So the other thing, other transportation information is the bus routes for the start of school year consist of 55 morning routes right now and 57 afternoon routes. That's a total of 112 routes daily. That could change. Right now we had 2 employees that did not come back, did not let us know. So some of those routes have been combined onto others, so other drivers have had to pick some of that up, which means we might have some kids dropped off 5 minutes before the bell rings, or we might have kids dropped off 5 minutes after it rings. So, just trying to make it all work out. It's getting smoother as every day goes on. First day was not that great in the evenings. It was fantastic in the morning, and I thought, hey, we got this made. But then the afternoon hits, and I was like going, oh man, it would never end. The phone, I'd have cell phone here, and Rita Williams was doing the same thing, but we made it through there. So we are averaging 1,732 miles a day just in our routes. That's a lot whenever you start looking at it. And we're servicing around 2,633 students daily. Those are the students that have the option to ride those buses. Last year, just in activities, taking athletic down the road and stuff, we went 85,444 miles. That did not include anything on our white fleet. So that didn't include our vans, which we have 5 of them that are gone almost all the time. That didn't include any of the Suburbans. That didn't include any other vehicle besides. That was just bus travel. So hopefully this week or next week, we ordered another coach-driven white activity bus. We ordered that a year and a half ago. Was it about a year and a half ago that we ordered that? And it is in Yukon right now at City Paintworks, getting the graphic put on the side of it. Hopefully we'll have that either this week or next week, and then that will be in addition to the fleet. So, like I said, right now we're short 3 drivers. I have 2 that are going through our program right now. Some of them, one has a CDL but does not have a P&S endorsement, and P&S endorsement is passenger and school bus. Mr. Liddell's been calling me 3 or 4 times a day wanting to drive. So is Dr. Darrow. He's gung-ho. He's ready to go. So if you know of anybody that's out there and they're looking for a bus driving job, hey, call me. I'll be glad to take it and move on. So, any questions? Okay.
Rick, thank you for being proactive and getting those buses early so we can save that money and, like you said, expand it as much as we could.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, last, certainly not least, is our Director of Technology, Jeff Herbal. Jeff's got another big job with all kinds of Chromebooks and iPads and Wi-Fi and all that, keeping it going. Jeff has a handout in front of you as well. I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Sorry, I didn't number the size. We'll start with the section entitled Enid Public Schools. Has the largest WAN. WAN stands for Wide Area Network. Enid Public Schools has the largest wide area network. We also have the largest IT operations in Northwest Oklahoma. We are by far the largest IT operations. Our wide area network connects 17 sites, 3 fields connectivity, all connected with a wide area network. We just updated that network. We're in the process of updating the network. So you'll see right here in the section, wide area network upgrade. We're looking at going from a 10 gig speed to a 40 gig connection. We bid that through E-rate. I point out what that cost, the highest bid in that was, and then also what we went with Unite Private Networks. Unite is our current provider, and they're going to be providing our upgrade. One of the reason that's so much cheaper is the other company had to build out the network. Unite already has the network built out. So this is our yearly fee. $1.2 million is what we pay, is what we are charged by Unite for our wide area network. That bill is 100% covered by E-rate and the OUSF fee, so the district pays $0 to connect our wide area network. Our internet connectivity is through OneNet. We did upgrade over the summer from a 10 gig to a 15 gig connection. We had a bid as high as $157,000. OneNet charges right about $40,000 for that 15 gig. Once again, zero cost to the district. E-rate pays 90%, OUSF pays the other 10%. OUSF, if you're not familiar, is Oklahoma Universal Services fee. That is a fee that you'll see on your telephone bills, your internet bills. There's a small fee that's charged to every consumer in the state of Oklahoma that goes to the Corporation Commission. They take that and they divide that out to schools to pay for connectivity. E-rate's done the same way. You get a larger percentage on your bills. E-rate, that goes to the federal government. Then they take it, we have to bid for it and get it back as refunds. So with that together, I did want to talk about internet connectivity. I was skeptical when we bid out this year's E-rate to about increasing our internet connectivity. We've had a 10 gig internet connectivity for the last 10 years. And even with our Chromebook and a one-to-one, we've never hit 10 gig. However, one day last week, we hit 8.5 gig for the first time. So I think it was prudent that we went ahead and upped it to 15. So we never want to get to where we're maxing out on our internet connectivity. And 10 gig was there long enough, it was time to go to 15 gig. The next thing I wanted to show you is our email protection, and just let you see what we deal with on a yearly basis as we're trying to protect our district with email. We get 3.1 million emails a year. 1.8 of those include spam, so we get a lot of junk mail. About 3,000 of those were phishing. Those are ones that are targeted. We get a lot targeted at Dr. Darrow, superintendent, trying to, hey, please update this record for this, do that. So we're actively protecting about 3,000 of those. There's also another target in there. A lot of the spam companies want to track us. They want to know a lot of their emails have multiple tags in them, multiple links out to different sites, and they're tracking that. There's a lot of people we do business with that also include those trackers. They want to know who's clicking their email, where they're going, where they're from, whatever. We actively block that just because we don't want people knowing what we're doing. We blocked 6 million known attempts and 48 million potential attempts just last year alone. So we have an awareness training for our spam. Right now, our district, we're at a 40% completion rate. I've been sending out an email to every one of our staff members for the last year and a half, but only about 40% of those have clicked them every month and done that. So that is an effort to train our staff on the proper use of email. But I thought one thing that's very telling, the statistic in the system says after watching 3 of the videos, 75% of the employees indicated that they've changed something in their daily lives to make them more secure. And that's what we want to do. We want to teach our staff members that there's a lot of bad stuff out there in the world when you're dealing with email, personal data, taking care of privacy in the district. So we want them to make sure they're modifying what they do in their daily life to do that. Turn over to the next page. Endpoint protection. This is viruses, attacks on our computer systems. In the last year, we've had over 1,000 attacks that we prevented, and 120 of those are targeted attacks that are links that people are clicked on or website that people go to that have actually had attack vectors sent out to our systems, and we've blocked 120 of those. We talked about the largest IT operations. We talk about the amount of support. From last year to this year, we closed 2,436 tickets in the IT department. My staff works 235 days a year. So we're closing at a minimum 10 tickets a day. That is, and it's less actually when you think about when we deal with Chromebooks. In the last year, we spent a day and a half at a minimum working on Chromebooks of that 5 days a week. So we're closing more than 10 tickets a day. And that doesn't include the 100 of phone calls or the emails that we do. So we're probably closing around 3,000 to 4,000 work tickets, trouble tickets, whatever, a school year. From my standpoint, data privacy is very important. I'll actually be presenting at Saturday's OSSBA conference on data privacy. It's my push as president of OKSDE to work with school districts in the state of Oklahoma to make sure student data privacy is safe and secure. We as a district have turned on 27 agreements with the Oklahoma Student Privacy Alliance. That's the alliance that OKSDE is championing throughout the state. And at a total, we've done 80 data privacy agreements with organizations. Those are documents that we send to those organizations, making sure that they're agreeing to, first of all, not sell our data, that they're going to protect it, that they're going to follow FERPA, and they're going to follow all the state and federal laws that we have in the state of Oklahoma to make sure our student data doesn't get out, doesn't get breached. You'll hear there's breaches every day. I can never say that we won't get breached, but we do everything we can to make sure. Everything I've talked about today is part of the protection measures that we put in place in the district to make sure we're protecting our district from outside vector attacks, whether that's email, spam, websites, data privacy, vendors that we're sending our data to, making sure they're protected. All of that is to protect our student data and to protect our systems. Want to wrap up just our one-to-one. Our Chromebooks, we ordered and deployed in 60 days, 7,250 Chromebooks. That was ordered and deployed in 60 days. We also ordered and deployed 1,660 iPads in 90 days. They weren't ready in the warehouse like the Chromebooks were, so they didn't get to us quite as quick. So it took a little over a month for them to get to us. But those are all deployed. We did have a little delay in our cases and had an issue with that, but that's getting worked out as we get school started. But our bond money, the last thing in the bond money is our security cameras and access. That stuff is on order, and everybody's spending tons of money on safety and security, so we do have to wait for all that stuff to come in and get it in line for getting installed, but all of that should be installed by fall break, I think, is our goal, to have all that expended and installed. So I will open it up to any questions.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
On your videos, your training videos, the awareness training.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share those with the board?
I should be able to, yes.
I just think it would be interesting to see what we're doing as a
Yeah,
district.
the company we use for our email security is Mimecast, and they produce videos. They're usually about 2.5 minutes long, the average. So it's a short video, but it's got some people that are supposed to be your conscience talking to you whether you should do stuff or not in all different scenarios that may come up. So bad judgment is one of them, just quick thinking or not paying attention. So they're convincing him, oh, just go ahead and do this, I'll do that. So yeah, they're very good, little quick videos on taking care of data, and I will get those shared to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did we by any chance, I mean, because you mentioned that we got to 8.2 out of our 10 capacity.
Yeah.
Was there something special about that day, something that we were doing, something that a group of kids or 8 kids was doing they weren't supposed to?
I was not able to. Our system shows us our bandwidth, and then that tracks the amount of bandwidth used at a certain time. So I can go back in a 24-hour period and see when spikes and valleys are and stuff like that. So you can see when the school day starts and when it ends, there's very low, and during the day it spikes. So it is really hard to determine what's going on at that time. It could have been a Chrome OS update, or it could have been a ton of kids watching videos or doing stuff like that. The Chromebooks themselves don't use a lot of bandwidth, so that's one reason I talked about not needing a lot, not thinking we need a lot. So, but there are things that can, videos, all of them watching YouTubes all at one time, or Chromebook updates all at one time. Those things can do a lot, but I was not able to track down exactly what that spike was. So that's why we have to go higher than what we estimate, just so we're covering that extra bandwidth if it needs to get there. So.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Kelly, everyone. Thank you, Rick. Thanks for being here tonight, and you guys do a lot of work behind the scenes that we all take for granted, unfortunately, sometimes, but thank you for what you do, and thanks for being here tonight. Very informative. Okay. That takes me to item E. I printed off an email for everybody. You guys can see it. Just want you to know that I got an email last week on the Eisenhower update that potentially, and I put fingers crossed there, hopefully we'll know something by the end of the week. So again, that's the correspondence for the design to build. That's from the Department of Defense, Jay Sweat. That's been our contact. So hopefully we hear something within this week, maybe next week at the latest. I want you to know that Dr. Robinson and I are ready. As soon as we get the green light, we have been ready. We've got that Oklahoma Military Strategic Planning Commission money set aside and ready to go. We're just waiting. Dr. Robinson, anything else on that? Am I missing anything? Chomping at the bit here. Okay, item F. I've got a stapled page there for you. That's basically just the upcoming calendar for the conference this Friday and this Saturday. You can see the different sessions. And on the very last page is the lunch details for Friday at lunch, if you'd like to attend. My plans have changed a little bit. I'm not going to be able to go Friday, but I will be driving down Saturday. So if anybody wants to carpool with me, more than welcome. But again, there's the information for the upcoming conference. Moving to item G, just want everybody to be aware of our current enrollment. Current enrollment as of this morning was 7,543 students. So again, that's 7,543. That's down just a touch from where we were at this time last year. Very comparable to where we finished up the year with attendance-wise. If history is any indicator, usually we gain a few more students as we go along. About Labor Day, it plateaus off. So again, I think it's very healthy. I think we're in a good spot, but it's something that we always monitor and we take great interest in. So again, I'll report that to you every month, but 7543 is where we're at currently. Okay, moving on, go to item H. Again, I put a packet there with you. That's just our upcoming dates for the strategic planning. That's going to start. The first meeting is going to be Tuesday, September 17th. That's going to be meeting with our administrators, and then the following week they come back and we start meeting with our community. We're speaking at Rotary that day. We've got a community stakeholders meeting later that evening. Going to meet with our teachers also after school. Board members, there's going to be ample opportunity for you to become involved in these meetings and discussions. So put this on your radar, and I'll continue to remind you as we go forward. Just really looking forward to this dig as they dig into our district. And I remind you again also the 4 areas that they are looking to really digging into public schools and report back on is to engage with our community, set some plans moving forward, take action steps, and then finally work towards achieving those goals. So engage, plan, action, and achieve. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know, but keep that on your radar, please. Okay, moving to item I. You all have a big flyer there in front of you, and that's our upcoming Great Land Run. That's going to be on Saturday, September 21st. Again, this is a wonderful event for Enid Public Schools. All the funds go towards Enid Public Schools this year. And that's going to be at the Redbird Farm. This is going to be a new location. This is going to be up north this year. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the Redbird Farm hosting us. And one thing specifically, all this money this year, Dr. Robinson and I, we've talked, and we're going to target assisting our BOAG program. So again, this is a great opportunity for Enid Public Schools, help our community, and all the funds stay here locally. So wonderful event. And then the last thing for me on the superintendent's report is, last page in your packet there is, I just want to report back to everyone on our reading scores this past year. So a year ago, we set the initial goal of having a 10% increase in all of our reading scores, and I shared this information during convocation. I just think this is really awesome for our teachers, for our principals, for instructional coaches, our leadership team. But third grade, again, we jumped up 16% growth. You can see that. We rose from 24 to 40 to 16% growth on our state testing. Fourth grade, where it was a 14% growth. Fifth grade was 18% growth, which is incredible. Sixth grade was a 14% growth. Seventh grade was a 13%. And again, eighth grade was an 18% growth. Just really proud of the effort our teachers made across the board. Proud of our leadership team making this a focus. Now, we're not where we want to be, and we're going to continue improving. We've already set a target to double that, have another 10% growth this coming year. This is going to be a continuation of our goal and continue working towards that. But again, I'm just really, really proud. We set the goal, we accomplished the goal. Now we're going to keep focused and keep pushing forward. The last thing I want to put on that page, if you look at the very bottom, was our academic goal was reading. We also had a goal for 95% attendance with our students. The year before, we had a 93.6 average daily attendance. We jumped that to a 94.3 daily attendance. So again, that was a great jump. That was 0.71%, almost a full percent growth. Now we're not at a 95 yet, but we're making great strides there. So again, we're going to continue with attendance. We're going to continue with the reading, and just want to report back to the board. Very proud of our teachers. Very proud of our schools. And that wraps up my report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Darrow. Takes us to number 4, regular business. A, discussion and possible action to approve the following consent agenda items. We can take item 1 through 11.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. So one more paper you have in front of you, and this is policy EMI. That was on the consent agenda, EMI. And if you look there, the yellow highlight area was something that is currently in our policy. We'd like to keep that sentence in the policy, and that is, however, nothing in the section shall construe to prohibit the reading of the Holy Scriptures. So we'd like to continue that. That was a late addition, but other than that, I definitely seek your approval.
Okay, Joe, you still want to make a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, Joe with the motion. Kim with the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Matt Lohman,
Yes.
Joe Blackwood,
Yes.
Randy Long,
Yes.
Kim Tinius.
Yes.
Corey Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson,
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes. Okay, item B, discussion and possible action to approve the district financial report for July 2024. Dr. Robinson.
Well, this finance report is pretty boring because it's really the first one of the fiscal year with July. And so when you see on our green and red sheet you're used to looking at, it doesn't look like we've collected a lot of money because I haven't put the carryover amounts onto the budget just yet, because we're kind of waiting on the auditor and the estimate of needs and those kind of things, which that all comes in September, and we'll have all that ready to go. So the page I really want to take you to is the carryover by fund. This is pretty important to look at because that's the numbers that are actually missing from the finance report, if that makes sense. And so this is a carryover. This is unaudited, but I'm going to say it's 100% accurate because I've already met with a guy who helps us with all this, and our numbers all matched up. So we're really good on this on this last fiscal year and going into this fiscal year. You guys did get this at the last meeting, but for Fund 11, we are going to carry over a little bit over $25 million. All of that is really done because of ESSER funding. Going back the last 4 years. ESSER funding is out, so this year we did add almost 3.7, just a little bit short of that, to the fund balance. I don't want to set an expectation that's going to continue. I really want to set an expectation that we're probably actually going to deficit spend this year because there's some unknown factors out there. So we're going to go on a somewhat of a spending diet, but as you guys all know, we always like to eat a little bit more as we're going through that diet phase. So I just want to set expectation that I do think we will deficit spend, not to a great extent, but there will be some of that. Building fund also in a very healthy spot with over $3 million in carryover there. We added just a little bit over $200,000 to that. Again, this is tied to state revenue. The Red Bud Fund that really came through for us last year. We also had some private money that came in that offset some costs for the tennis courts. So those are all really good things that were expected. Have not received the allocation yet for Red Bud funding, so I can't say where we're going, but things are looking good there. So that's really just my finance report, kind of wrap things up. If there's any questions over any of that, I'm glad we entertain them, but as we get into September, you'll start seeing a better picture of things unfolding financially for the district.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move we approve.
Corey with a motion, Matt with a second. Is there any discussion? We'll vote. Matt Lohman? Yes. Joe Blackwood? Yes. Randy Long? Yes. Continuous? Yes. Roy Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay, that takes us to C, discussion and possible action to approve a memorandum of understanding between Enid Public Schools and Big Five Community Services, Inc. for Big Five to utilize up to 3 classrooms at Carver Early Childhood Center for a Head Start program for students ages 3 to 4 years old. Enid Public Schools will share 1/2 of the salary for 1 classroom staff of 2 Head Start teachers through invoicing from Big Five. Big Five will cover any additional employee cost and will provide a receptionist secretary at Carver Early Childhood Center. Sam?
So this is really Mr. Rader's kind of his pet project, but really what was just read is it's the baseline of what's happening. We're going to share the salaries of 2 of those teachers in those classrooms. There's a possibility they could have 2 additional classrooms. We will not have any cost associated with that. Additionally, they're going to provide for a receptionist at that campus, and so it's a pretty fair deal and a place for our 3-year-olds to get a head start. The reason it has 4-year-olds in there is because that 3-year-old might turn 4 while they're there, and then the expectation is when they're 4, they enter our pre-K program next school year. So that's really why it's written. But again, this is a great opportunity for people in our community to take advantage of a program that's very worthwhile. I don't know if
Randy,
Mr. Ritter
you
has
want to
anything
chime
to add.
in?
No, I mean, we're excited about it. I did find out last week, because of the 3-year-old part, they have to have DHS authorization. They got their DHS authorization. They are there in our building right now, ready to get kids, and they're being treated just like they're one of us because ultimately they have our kids, so.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely seek your approval.
Move we approve.
Of Tori with the motion and Joe with the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Matt Lohman? Yes. Joe Blackwood? Yes. Randy Long? Yes. Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay, that takes us to D. Discussion and possible action to approve an agreement between Enid Public Schools and the Oklahoma Department of Human Services for an 80% DHS and 20% EPS funded school-based family service program. DHS will allow the district to utilize existing employees for the retitled positions who will work with students and families for mental health access, basic needs, academic assistance, and family support. Sam?
So I'm going to say this all in jest, but I'm going to say it anyway. So when they say the superintendent doesn't really do anything, he's the guy who brought this program to us. So thank you, Dr. Darrow, for that. We need to get a laugh once in a while. But anyways, he really did bring it to us. That's not a joke on that part of it. This program is, we're going to be able to utilize 2 people we already have employed, so we don't have to steal from any of our existing teachers. We do have a meeting set up with DHS tomorrow to really nail down the full details of this. They have told us that we can use those existing employees. Those are our community liaisons that we have in Jennifer Fields and Brenda Garcia. And they really told us, we want to give you guys 80% funding so to free up those funds to do other things with. There is potential for this program to grow. They've gone over other schools that have 7 or 8 of these positions in their school that are being funded at 80%. So we're going to start with 2, see where it goes from there. We need your approval to do this. And like I said, I really will have some really good details tomorrow, but from everything we can tell from our previous meeting, through going through all this documentation, this is a no-brainer. We should step out there, we should take this funding and take the reward that comes with partnering with DHS with some access to some programs that they already have.
Multiple years too, right?
Yeah, there is no sunset date on this.
Yeah.
So.
Great.
Yeah, and it's actually state funded, so we're not relying on the federal government. They told us this was something that Governor Stitt started when he first got into office, and so they really don't see funding on this going away because of the impact it has on children and schools in our state.
Fantastic.
Do we simply have to renew with them every year? Is it a program we can just keep going? Do we have to meet some sort of conditions every year?
The only condition she told us is there's some reporting that we have to do. And that's what I really need to get more details on it, because this program is so new to them, they can't even outline what all of that reporting looks like. There were just some schools got a little bit of a jump start on it last spring. I don't know why they were given a jump start above others, but once we get that, and as far as renewal, I'm assuming that as long as we're doing our reporting and we're taking care of kids through this grant program, it keeps rolling year after year. So
Sam, it sounds really good. Is there any kind of strings attached to it?
No, the only string that's attached is we have to submit some reporting. Okay. And I don't know what that reporting is. They told us it wasn't what a typical DHS counselor has to do, and which is good. And they even told us that over the telephone. They're like, it's stringent reporting. I said, we don't want to start a program that's 4 days of working with kids and 1 day of reporting. And they told us that was not the case with this program.
I have one more question for you, Dr. Robinson. For our 2 liaisons that would be in this position, this is basically what they're doing now. We're just going to be being able to pay them out of other funds.
That's right.
So it's not really going to add services so much right now. Just keep doing what we're doing.
That's right. The service it would add is it will give us some access to some DHS resources. I'm saying this, not saying it's going to happen, is one of the things we're hoping for is maybe the ability to actually sign families and students up for sooner care. Yeah, and so if we can do that, which we can't do now, then that's adding a service that we currently can't provide.
Thank you.
Be great. Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I'm
So
moved. Everybody.
Second.
I have Tori with the motion and Matt Lohman with the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Randy Long? Yes. Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay, that takes us to new business. Is there any new business?
Yeah, there is a little bit. I put this in my weekly email. If possible, and you don't have to tell me today, but we'd love to have a short 5-minute board meeting on Friday, August 30th. Jane would like to have this specifically. We have to get the minutes approved so we can get the personnel and through accreditation and properly paid. So you don't have to let me know this minute, but the next day or two, Friday, August 30th at noon, 5-minute meeting, put that on your radar.
We've done this in the past. to make
Absolutely.
this happen.
Last couple of years, haven't we, Jane? Yeah. Yeah. And it has to be done by September 1st. For one, okay, for one of them, gotcha. But anyways, if you'll just let me know sometime soon, please.
Okay. Any other new business? Okay, that takes us to item 6, reports, items of information, board comments and/or questions. Colonel Little is not here. Is there any other board members have any comments or questions? Okay, we'll move to 7. Next regular meeting is September 16th, 2024 at 6 p.m. right here. Item 8, discussion and possible action to approve a proposed executive session in ASC Room 123 to discuss the employment and those individuals and/or positions listed on the attached Exhibit A and Exhibit B, possible purchase or appraisal of real property. A motion?
So moved.
Tori with the motion.
Second.
Kim with the second.
Get on the
Any discussion? Let's vote. Matt Lohman.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood. Randy Long.
Yes.
Kim Tinius.
Yes.
Tori Turnbow.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance. Yes. Oh, you're just trying to stall so that we can go over the time limit that.
Oh. Did you write your time down somewhere?